Welcome to Rev Up Your Business with Hilda Gann. We are now in season 5, and we've changed the name and the focus of the podcast. Rev Up Your Business is the podcast for small to medium-sized business owners, entrepreneurs, and HR professionals. Each week, we share tips, strategies, and trends on how you can build success in your business. I share my expertise as a people-centric leader in work culture and human resources. My guests share their expertise in human resources, marketing, sales, finance, IT, leadership, and the multiple facets that you need to take care of your business. If you love to learn and want to find out how you can rev up your business, join us. Welcome to another episode. Today, the focus is on the digital world. Is it a mystery to you? Are you not sure what to do and how to optimize the digital world to succeed in business? Do you know how to get a government-funded $15,000 digital plan free? Well, today's guest, Dianne Clark, knows how to make this happen. Dianne Clark is a PMP and a leading expert in creating collaborative workplaces. Founded in Niagara, Canada in 2000, Dianne is a CEO of Trendspire. That's a service provider for the CDAP, Canadian Digital Adoption Program. Dianne has assisted countless public, private, and nonprofit organizations with strategic growth during uncertain times by empowering leaders with digital tools and strategies for informed and AI-driven decision-making. Welcome, Dianne.
Thank you, Hilda.
Great to have you here. And let's get started. I know you want to share with us the CDAP program and other funding opportunities.
Yes, I'd love to. I'm excited because of the years that I've been working with organizations in transformation and adopting different digital tools that recently the federal government came out with some assistance and a program that includes 3 levels of assistance. One is the plan upfront, is to do a digital plan, which I'll explain in a little more detail. And the second is to provide an interest-free loan for implementation of those tools. And thirdly, there's some wage subsidies to help as well. So I can explain further about the CDAP and other funding opportunities that we help organizations with. Usually it's to get a digital upgrade. And that is, as I say, a strategy, some implementation, and some staff training. There is also a territorial job grant that is, we often direct companies to that to assist with training of their staff in new digital tools.
So let's just step back a second. You know, I'm listening to this thing and I'm hearing the digital world and I think, I don't really quite understand. And now you're offering me this grant. Step back and say, why would I be interested and am I eligible for this grant? So maybe we need to kind of go back to what is digital world and how can the average company business owner benefit from wanting to listen further and get this amazing $15,000 plan free.
Yeah, certainly. Yeah, well, I mean, it is free. It's a little more complicated, but certainly those who qualify, their qualification, there's 2 streams in CDAP. One is an introductory stream for organizations that don't meet the threshold of $500,000 per annual revenue per year. But those who do meet that are qualified for stream 2, which is what I'm going to focus most of my discussion on. But why would a company want to do this plan or program? First of all, there's a lot of digital tools out there that promise to deliver a lot of different results. And what's happening is organizations are using everything from Excel spreadsheets to free and other tools. So now they have several different tools. So they don't have integrated tools. They have a lot of different tools and they're trying to make them all work together. Studies have found that it takes about 9 minutes for an employee to switch between applications. And that actually results in about 7% of an employee's salary in each to switch between each non-integrated tool. So there's a loss of economics, there's not a loss of money when you have non-integrated tools. It's
I
important
find
for
that I find that really an interesting statistic because when my husband and I had our engineering company, we would talk about productivity and helping staff be more productive. So this particular example of, through no fault of our own, we're switching from one tool to another and we have this downtime. And I can recall him saying for every 5 minutes that everybody had, if all of us could save 5 more minutes or 15 more minutes in a day, we could increase our profit, our net profit by 1%. So that's amazing. So what you're saying is that just this alone could increase your profit and the productivity of staff because they're switching back and forth.
Absolutely. I'm working with a large organization in Toronto, and they have 600 employees. So a large organization who just has one application for logging their hours, switching to another application to manage their clients. Every single employee is doing that kind. So there's an enormous amount lost on that non-integrated tool, but there's also a lot to be gained by allowing it to have data shared between them, so that you don't have to duplicate input, or so that your clients and your customers are shared between two different products, and you don't have to put in separate information. So it's a economic gain as well as a productivity gain. And it's important to realize that companies should spend about 5% of their gross annual revenue on technology. 5% is average, between 4 and 6%. And actually, the smaller you are, the more you're on the top end of that. The larger companies can go more towards the 4% margin. But if you don't spend enough on technology, then employees can't do their best work. You're putting obstacles in their way for true progress. And in that case, some efforts to invest in free tools, the training for free tools, sometimes there's obstacles in those free tools that, again, are creating roadblocks for productivity. So it's important to spend enough on technology and digital tools in order to make the best of employee work.
I I find that statistic really interesting because I know we all have to spend some money on it, and maybe we spend 2% of our sales or our revenue. And when you say really the average should be 5%, and what you're saying is by spending that 5%, you get a return on investment because you're going to be more efficient, more effective. And you've given examples about free tools, training, blockages, problems. Wow. Thank you.
Yeah.
What I love about you, Dianne, as you and I have gotten to know each other over the year, is you have a passion and a knowledge for technology, and you utilize it and you back it up with statistics that make sense to why should I invest more? Because in the long run, you're going to save money. And this is what I've always loved about you. And you do it in such a way that relates to the average person's understanding of technology. A lot of people, when you start talking tech language, they kind of glaze over and go, okay, what's she saying? I don't know. I don't know. So
That's
thank you.
true.
I think as people are listening, they're saying, wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, well, didn't mention too much about myself, but I've, way back, way back when, I've been involved in technology for a very long time. Everything from a bulletin board system before the internet, which ages me tremendously. But I ran a server farm in my basement, and things like that, make me a seasoned, I guess, a veteran, where there's not a lot of veterans in technology. And so I I've learned that to keep things, because technology isn't difficult or complicated. It actually is pretty straightforward if you give it the context that it deserves, which is everything is really black and white. It's there is savings to be had. It just boils down to being smart about integration, and consolidation, which are the trends in technology right now. The thing I'm excited about CDAP is that the CDAP investment that is made upfront. There is an investment made to CDAP upfront, and the government insists that there's a little skin in the game, and that the payment to consultants or to advisors is made upfront. And then when the plan is completed and uploaded as a PDF, then the government does give you the entire fees back. That's how it's considered free. But what a great way to explore digital tools and explore different ways that digital technologies can help you. Everything from security, even hardware like 3D printers and can be included in this exploration, along with new software and enterprise ready, something to run your entire business with. It's a great way to explore that. Now, if you decide to stop there, you can. And if you decide to go on, you will have a full implementation, steps for implementation within the plan, and then qualify for the interest-free loan.
Can I ask a question for the listeners? Because I'm thinking, is it a generic plan that is like all of these 5 things, or is it more customized to a particular company and what they need at this time?
Often companies ask me, or organizations ask me, why the same price for every company? And the answer is because the process is the same, but the results are very different.
I like how you said that the process is the same. So you assess, you plan, you customize, but the result is different because of that assessment and your needs, right? That's what I'm hearing.
Oh, absolutely. What is included in a digital plan, I'm often asked. So a digital plan, from my perspective, and every digital advisor has a different approach. We have different strengths and weaknesses, and mine is providing a vendor neutral strategy, one that is really is based on the needs of each client and not driven by software, the way that software companies can entice you to want to use their products by compensation or by other. We don't accept compensation. We do go to the current state. We assess the current state of an organization and look at their current capacity and measure how well they're doing, and look at their current digital tools that they're using so far. That's in the plan. Is we put upfront, here's your current state of your enterprise. Then we go into what is the future or desired state for your organization. We look a little about, are your goals to increase efficiencies? Are they to reduce your costs? Are they to provide a more excellent product or service? Then we look and research different software or hardware that will support processes that you're needing or doing. We also propose, in a lot of cases, we propose marketing and cybersecurity recommendations for security, as well as change management strategies, because all of that is part of transformation. So we have some advice that we provide, as well as usually 3 options for software or hardware. We give you 3 hard options. They're either option 1, option 2, or option 3, which could be 3 different software products or 3 different software hardware scenarios. In another case, in which I prefer, is a progressive adoption, which is, let's look at this small change first, and this little kind of make it an easy to adopt change that's going to help. And usually it's in reporting. We like to get better reporting. So let's get better reporting. Then let's progress to a more complicated adoption. And thirdly, let's address more enterprise. So it's more of a progressive, small, medium, and large, layered. That's usually what I prefer to see is a progressive plan that you can choose to go with one and you can stop there or continue to number two, number three, and so on. And thirdly is a roadmap for implementation, and that is what to do in which order. So that's part of the plan as well. And that's why it's usually about average of 60 to 80 pages long in the end. And every plan is very different depending on the goals of the company and the type of industry that they're in.
What I love when I first heard about CDAP, everybody's just trying to sell you this. And as I get to know you better, I think it's more your passion to help people be more effective, be more efficient, and get comfortable using the right technology. And I love how you say, I'm vendor neutral. And we come up with, 3 scenarios or 3 different softwares. And I know when I talk to you about different softwares, I feel comfortable knowing that you have done that research and that you have heard me and the fit for me as a company. And that's what I love about what you do with this CDAP. It's not I can make 15,000. Well, I don't know if you make 15,000, but I can help somebody and I get something out of making this happen for them. But sometimes I get that sense that some people are out to use the program to make revenue. You use the program to help others. That's I don't know. That's what I see as your distinct advantage. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's how I see it.
Thank you. No, that's it's true enough. There's we specialize in mid and back office assistance, which sometimes with other plans, it's front office, which is marketing. There's a big push to bring more clients. Most of our clients are satisfied with the number of clients they have. They just don't have the capacity to move beyond. They want to grow, but they've reached their capacity and they need to make changes in order to grow to accommodate all the clients that they are attracting.
That's the structure. It's the structure.
Right.
It's not marketing and using it for that. It's really creating the structure to be able to scale to the next level. And yes. I guess that gets to what are some of those top challenges that people that you address when people are having a CDAP plan?
Yeah, usually there's 2 or 3 that really are common, but I say common because the challenges are the same, but the solutions are different. So the first is the silos of information, in that information exists in these different tools, and now how are business owners and leadership supposed to make decisions when the information exists in several different places? And so we know that this is a problem. Our digital plans often address consolidating reports and activities and bringing those non-integrated analytics and information together in one dashboard. And that can be done. And we have recommendations on how to do that and what kinds of tools can be used to do that. Now, AI is a question we often get when it's when we're talking about information and consolidating and answering questions. So AI can be very helpful in reporting in that it offers contextual assistance. So you can literally ask for the report you need. You should be able to just say, show me the sales or for the month of March and who bought the blue item or who took this service. You should be able to ask that question as complicated as you like, and the report will be brought to you. That's one way of using AI, is to usually conversationally, rather than try to come up with the correct words or having a canned report, as some call it. Now, that's the nice thing about AI, is that leadership now can get the reports they need to make decisions without having to be trained in certain software. The second thing is you can examine risk and rewards and make hypothetical decisions with AI, which is you can ask your AI tool, whatever it might be, something like, what if I want to sell baseballs in the Yukon? Which is very kind of abstract, but what you will get back from AI is what's the compliance to make baseballs in the Yukon, and what are the risks for sales of baseballs, like the seasons and the geography, and are people going to play baseball there? And what's the relative market size? It's not the numbers, but it's a small or medium or large. So before you head out and do any kind of research in a sophisticated or pay for research, you can do informal research with an AI tool. But I do caution about AI because data on the internet is considered a free-for-all unless it's gated. So I do recommend that everyone gates their information that's private or contains intellectual property, really behind a username and password. Or if not that, then at least by technical means that says, don't allow bots in here, like don't allow bots into this place on the internet, which you can put crossroads up, and robots that are on the internet won't scour or scrape that information to be part of the AI sea
So you're
ocean.
talking about people who are using AI in their company, that they may want to protect it from going out there in the general world through these protection or gates, as you call them.
Yes, absolutely.
Because
It's
I sort of
definitely
went a little
interesting.
glazy when you were talking about that, and I thought, I don't think she's talking about a software that I have for AI. She's just talking about the general chat box kind of thing, AI.
Yeah,
Well,
people, Chat GPT, and everyone seems to think that's the one and only tool. There are many AI tools out there, and
even
they're
Google
all,
has their own now, right? Or Microsoft. I can't remember. One of them started their own.
yeah, they just layered learning. They learn what is helpful and contextual together, like they pull the information that's related together, and they learn based on what is producing results. So yes, Google has done that for years. I like tools that provide sources for where it's
Yes.
scraping the information. I like to see annotations and footnotes where this came from this source, and I like to see that, and I will, because really every source should be recognized,
Right.
and I
Right.
think that is an ethical or responsible
Well,
use of AI.
because you never know. If you don't know the source, then you're not sure how valid it is, right? Did you get it off a magazine,
It's
that's like
true.
the Daily Mirror or something,
Yeah,
versus, a university transcript of somebody's dissertation is a little different kind of level of scrutiny for one versus the other. Yeah.
yeah,
I,
yeah.
I,
You're
I
right.
I was at Collision this year, and I think what I gained out of AI, because a lot of people are scared about AI, is that think of it as a starting point to reduce the number of hours. Like when I'm doing a presentation for a client, I like to customize my training, even though I have a framework that I like to follow. But different industries, different clients, you just want to tweak things out. And I would go almost back to research and find out, has anything changed? And I could end up spending 3 or 4 hours just doing the research because number one, I enjoy doing it, but I also I want to know what's out there currently. And what I find is that if I put that same information into Chat GPT and say, wow, I just got that in like 5 minutes and it kind of validates what I'm thinking. So now I only have to do research on A and B instead of A, B, C, and D. And I've saved myself 2 hours worth of time. So I like to think of AI as a starting point to streamline and then let you focus on things in more depth than have to go scouring everywhere for everything.
Yeah, there is definitely a level of confidence that working with those tools does help, and that confidence is something we haven't been able to really bring with any other tool so
Mhm.
far.
Mhm.
So, and we,
So what are your favorites? You said it's not just Chat GPT. So tell us some of your favorites so that we
Well,
can jot
I
them down
do.
quickly and
Good
do.
question. I do have a favorite, and I am vendor neutral, but I do have my own favorite that I use, and I love Perplexity because Perplexity works within Google Chrome and Brave browser, which I use as well. And it provides source. I love the way that it clips to the clipboard easily, pastes in everything that is annotated, and to me, it's a great tool to begin the conversation, to begin the report, to begin and bring confidence, so that you can just go, yeah, I knew that, but it's putting it in a really good organized context. So now I'm willing and able to deal with this information rather than, as you say, start from scratch and have to try to become confident, even though you may have already known that information.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Any other challenges that the CDAP could address that
Yeah.
you can
Oh,
share?
absolutely. For sure. Thank you. I do have another that rises to the top, and this is no surprise. It's satisfying employees, clients, and partners. Trying to satisfy one or all of those is usually something that, how can I satisfy employees? How can I and so technology does facilitate connections. It's really good about, tracking relationships, building relationships, and it also empowers others. So it helps employees to help themselves. And in some cases, for example, shift management now it doesn't have to be left to one person. Shift management can be put up on a technical or digital board, and everyone can make sure there's coverage. And if there's not coverage of certain, like a restaurant, if there's not coverage in certain areas, it will be, there will be something missing, and people will be notified to fill that gap. So it does empower employees to manage their own shifts and to trade, and as long as there's coverage, it's really empowering for them to feel that they have that under their control, and it's part of work-life balance. It helps with that, so that satisfies employees. Clients like to signal when they need help, and they don't want to jump through a lot of hoops to show that they need help. So technology does provide blocks and steps for clients to provide signals of either when they're struggling or when they need help. So there's the effort there put into technology, and as soon as you do, clients and partners respect that you're trying to help them with either stepping stones on helping themselves, or when they can't, there's an easy way to chat. There's an easy way to use their tools on their phones to ask for help. And it really is if you've made the investment in an enterprise worthy tool, then it's going to come with those kinds of ways to work with clients and partners.
Cool. And I know there was one other thing I think we wanted to talk about before we go, and that was workforce optimization coaching. You want to share a little bit more about that before we
Yeah, certainly. Yeah, no, and this is evolved over the past, say, 10 years, is that workforce doesn't look the same as it did 10 years ago. We know that there has been some role adjustments, especially with technology. HR teams have grown, and with people management systems, fewer people need to manage people manage people processes. So HR has gone through transformation in that there's been roles that have changed from people-centric or in-person-centric to now growth. There's been growth in IT support. How can we support our people with IT processes? How can we manage all the devices that go out and make sure that the training is there for? So there's been that. Reputation management is another thing. It can get out of control with one comment that is said about your company or your organization, and now you're dealing with that. social media, e-commerce, catalog management. Like there definitely is a growth in support for IT roles, but it doesn't mean that people will be out of jobs. It just means there's a bit of a shift and a transformation within the workforce and a juggling. So we do assist organizations in reframing their workforce, and just sometimes it's a role adjustment, sometimes it's job description changes, and sometimes it's a little bit of training. And we do point organizations to funding for that as well. So that is
what kind of funding are you referring to?
The territorial job federal grant. There's one in every province. There's the Canada Ontario Job Grant, and it depending on what kind of adjustment you're asking for in a role, you can get up to 90% back for training. So you invest, up to I think it's 5,000. It's a fair good amount for training. Might even be more than that. But it provides training opportunities for role adjustments. If there is new responsibilities taken on, then you qualify for more funding back, more rebate. If it's not a big role adjustment, if there's not a change in pay, if it's not a hiring on, those things are all factors in how much you can get returned on your training. But that is something we point to when it comes to training and role adjustments. Yeah.
So what I'm hearing is when you're helping coach companies to optimize their workforce, it's usually because of technology changes. People think, wow, who's going to do this? Or they just keep letting that person do the same thing, but they don't need to do that anymore. So really helping people realize with this new technology, that streamlines, these three roles, but what that person now can do is be free to focus on this or enhance to do this, or there's new responsibilities as a result of this reduction in this side. So this is what you mean when you say workforce optimization.
It is very exciting. Yes, because I find it exciting because, what used to take a day to onboard an employee now can take seconds.
Yeah.
But what that does is it frees up that person to provide one-to-one support, to welcome them into the new organization, to provide more of the old style HR, which is, person to person and less process oriented. It's more relationship building and centralizing some of the processes that are sometimes distributed amongst all kinds of different locations. You can really build relationships with your employees. It leaves room for that where, your head's not down, buried in Excel spreadsheets the whole day. You can make sure that process is done. You know exactly it's covered. You're confident in that, and so now you're free to welcome. Spend more time on the welcoming activities and the other things that are.
And thank you for sharing that. I think when people used to use the word orientation, and now they say onboarding. And when they say onboarding, they think onboarding is the administrative tasks. Get your payroll started, what kind of benefits, get that enrollment done, and what kind of reduction in your taxes do I need to do? And then they think, okay, we're done. But that's not onboarding. That's the administrative part, and the human touch of making me feel wanted, valued. That when you hired me, what you told me was going to happen is happening. That's what I need to hear as part of onboarding. So I'm putting on my HR like sword, I guess, rather than my hat. I'm putting on my HR sword to say, onboarding isn't just the administrative stuff. It is the making sure you welcome me, making sure you make me feel a part of the company and help me learn the key things I need to do for my job so that I can get up to speed faster. Use that time to make that happen. So that's my little bit about onboarding.
Yeah, no, and employees are stakeholders in a company. They can make or break. And all of our discussion today really does focus on relationship building. Technology isn't about, it's not, technology is not about money or hard. It really is about people, and it's about allowing people to use the skills that they have to do better. And and this is why, if employees can have the tools that they need to do their job better, they're stakeholders, and they'll make every company better.
I love that focus, because I think a lot of people feel that that technology sometimes is a dirty word and it's a negative connotation. And your focus has been as an enabler, and everything that you've done to build your expertise to provide the kind of support you give people is really looking for things that help enable us to be better and to focus on the more human side. So when we're talking about technology, not to look at it as something evil, but to make it so that we can focus on more of the human side. So I love that perspective that you're sharing. I've loved it throughout
Thank
this conversation. How do people get a hold of you, Dianne?
Given the technology, there's been many, many ways over the years, but really the best, because you name it, I'm on every platform. But that doesn't mean I participate, often on all of them. But the best way really is to visit the website. Our website is Trendspire.com. You'll find information there, but my email, dclark@trendspire.com, and I'm on Calendly as well under Dianne Clark, and I'm happy to. I do have a lot of calls, informal coaching. I offer, I offer a 45-minute coaching for free. I work with a lot of organizations just to explore what are my opportunities, and what would you recommend that I work on. And I'm happy to have that first call with organizations, and just I'm available on Calendly for those kinds of calls.
Great. Thank you. Thank you very much for sharing your passion, your wisdom, and your insights, and making us feel a lot better about the digital world and how it can enable us to be more human.
Oh, thank you. Happy to be a part of this, Hilda. Thanks.
Thanks again. And to those who are my viewers and listeners, thank you for joining me. I hope you found this really interesting and a little bit more comfortable for you in this digital world that we live in. If you like this, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the podcast. So thank you, and may you rev up your business. Thank you for tuning in to Rev Up Your Business with Hilda Gann. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to our podcast on YouTube and Spotify to stay up to date with all of our latest episodes. For more HR tips, strategies, and to learn how you can create a people-centric workplace, visit our website at peoplebrightconsulting.com.